All right, welcome back inside Studio A here in the Comcast building downtown Denver. Brian Roth back with you. Time to introduce you to the 5A state basketball champion Overland Trailblazers. And joining us in studio, head coach Danny Fisher, senior guard Austin Conway, and then junior post player Deron Davis. And what a season it was for those Blazers. Got off to a little bit of a slow start, even though they're everybody's favorite. But boy, did they pick it up as the year went on and dominated their way for their first ever state championship in the sport of boys basketball. And guys, congratulations. Thanks for coming in. And Coach Fisher, it's one of the things you guys talked about at the end of the year. It's respect the process. And there's no question this season qualified as a process from practice one to raising the championship trophy.
Most definitely. Most definitely. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
And it was a journey from last season. We brought a couple key guys back like these two that had some experience, but there were also some new guys that weren't talked about a lot. That situation was brand new for them.
Yeah. Austin, talk a little bit about the slow start. I mean, you guys open up at the Regis. Everybody's there. It's the biggest game of the year to open up, 1 versus 2. They beat you. You guys lose a couple out-of-state games. What was going through the mind of the team back then?
You know, we were just trusting in what Coach was telling us, that everything was set in place for us for a reason, that we were going to get over a hump. We had 1/3 of the season to focus on, and that first third was going out of town and playing some teams that we played that had some future pros on there, and a lot of different players that we got to see. And he was just telling us, you know, this is part of the process. You know, it's going to be a long season, but this is part of the process. And it was, you know, it was easy because he was coaching us through it, so we were able to, you know, get past that hump.
Yeah, Deron, you guys are sitting at 3 and 4 at one point of the season. Did the team ever lose confidence?
Oh, never. You know, we have opportunity to play against top players around the country. And, you know, Vegas and Utah was a a learning experience for us. You know, it made us a better people and athletes as well.
Yeah, yeah. Talk a little bit about that. Was it maybe a good thing to get off to a slow start? I mean, I think everybody thought, Danny, that you guys were the clear-cut favorites then. Maybe some folks kind of backed off that a little bit, but did that work as a good teaching moment early on?
I think it really did. Austin, Deron in particular, they travel so much in the summertime, and they're constantly being talked about nationally, so their head is kind of always in the clouds. And to have that, that's kind of an imbalance on our team with 2 guys that are such high level, and then kind of the rest of the guys are trying to meet that level. When we start off struggling, it kind of forces us to match each other. It forces us to see where our holes are and then kind of bring everybody to the same level. So I think it served us really, really well.
Yeah, and you guys obviously got better as the season went along. I think the last loss for you guys was January 9th to Eagle Crest. Austin, was there a point of the season where you kind of felt like, all right, here we go, we're clicking now?
Yeah, I think so. Once we lost that game at Eagle Crest, you know, our coach, he told us, he was telling us, like, you know, this is just a step in the process. I mean, you'll hear that over and over again, as it was a step in the process. And once we figured out that, you know, we're better than what we think, the only team that can beat us is Overland, that's when we started getting it in practice. That's when we started performing at our high level, and that's when we started clicking as a team. And that's when we were like, you know what? We really are as good as Coach tells us we are. Yeah,
at the start of the season, we mentioned, I think everybody thought it was Overland. You guys had a slow start, but I think when we hit late February and the brackets came out, at least in my mind, and I know a lot of folks that cover the state in basketball, I thought you guys were clearly the team to beat. I mean, Deron, talk about the mindset and where your guys' attitude was heading into the postseason, because I think you really reestablished yourself as, all right, Overland's back. That's the team you got to get through.
Well, you know, our mindset was, you know, just compete every day in practice and get better, you know, and then everything will take care of itself. We respect the process, you know, we take respect the process, you know, that's really key for us. You know, we take that day by day, hour by hour, play by play, so everything's gonna take care of itself. You know, we went to the tournament, you know, confident and you know, just excited.
Yeah, I mean, it was a team that played with a lot of confidence, Danny, in the state tournament. I mean, not only did you guys win the state, I mean, you guys were dominating your way through each and every round. How'd you do that?
You know, both of them just mentioned our practices and the competition level in practice towards the end of the season. It really did reach a really high level. I like to have a bit of chemistry in practice with the 5 starters, but I kind of broke it up, and kind of match the teams, and when you put these two on different teams, the environment completely changes. You know, I kind of step back and just let them go, and then they start to lead, and their teammates start having fun, and it just becomes a very, very high-level competitive environment, and I think that changed a lot of how we approached every single game.
Right, and we mentioned at the start of the season, though, these two guys are getting a lot of the credit, and deservedly so. I mean, they're phenomenal basketball players. Of course, Ryan Swan also getting some, but as I watched you guys over the years, over the course of the year, it was clear that you guys had other pieces.
Yes.
Your guard, Reggie Gibson, was terrific, especially in the state tournament. A kid like Padilla Wang, you had other pieces I thought filled in nicely.
And that's what took a little bit of time, I think, for us. Reg was huge for us, and it allowed Austin wanted to be committed to being the best defender on the court and shutting down the other team's best player. And Reg's emergence kind of really allowed Austin to do that and still be loose on offense without having so much pressure on himself offensively. And Padilla Wang, Elijah Halliburton, King Grant Perry, and Ryan Swan, they all bought into their roles 100%, and their maturity and their willingness to be good teammates, that made a ton of difference for us.
All right, let's talk about these two young men. Austin is going to be moving on to the University of Wyoming. I mean, have you coached a faster guard in your time?
Not even close, not even close. And I've seen a lot of fast guards. And just, you know, in addition to his speed and athleticism, his competitive fire and his leadership, you know, people ask me what we're going to do to replace Austin next year, and we're not. We're going to have to change the way that we play. You know, you don't replace that. You know, you can't. Hopefully another Austin will be born or walk into our building next year, but you just don't replace that.
No, you don't. Austin, you'll be known as one of the, at least in the last couple of decades, one of the best two-sport athletes to come out of the state of Colorado. You're going to go to the University of Wyoming, play for Larry Shyatt and the Cowboys in the sport of basketball. Talk about that decision to go there and the decision not to play football, because you certainly could have done that at the Division I level.
You know, it was just how I felt. You know, at Overland, you know, I feel like I was a part of a family, you know, playing for Coach Danny. You know, I have a lot of respect for Coach Danny, and I know there's not a thing Coach Danny wouldn't do. He'd go to hell and back for all of his players. And, you know, looking at Coach Shyatt was another extension of Coach Danny. Like, you know, that's the guy I want to play for. That's the guy I want to lay my heart on the line for. And it just became easy once I started developing that relationship with Coach Shyatt and the university, and how it felt like it was just a quick transition from Overland to Wyoming. There's nothing different except for blue and green to brown and gold. And that's how I felt, and that's why the decision was so easy to transfer from a football player to a basketball player, just because of the comfort level.
Yeah. Talked about if you've ever coached a guard with the speed of Austin Conway. How about a big man with the skill of Deron Davis?
You know, not only have I never coached it, I don't know if our state has honestly ever seen it. And I don't know if he's appreciated just yet for how good he really, really is. He's a very unselfish player, and sometimes that gets in the way of his dominance. But I don't think we've seen, I think he showed last year that he's one of the best defensive big men this state has ever seen. And offensively, I look really, really forward to him proving what he's capable of doing, because his skill set, like you say, it's through the roof. And, you know, he bought into our team concept, and I think we're going to see what he is as a complete player in this next season.
Yeah, Deron, you've gotten a lot of publicity over the years. Obviously, it's something I'm sure you're getting used to. As you go into your senior year, that spotlight's can be magnified even more. Talk about the process of getting used to knowing that everybody's watching Deron Davis.
You know, I'm pretty used to it right now. It's my big thing to learn is, you know, I let my teammates, you know, do their thing. You know, I trust in my teammates, and my job's going to be easier in the court.
Yeah. What do you need to improve on going into your senior year?
Everything. You know, I just want to get better at everything. You know, conditioning, shooting, post moves, throughout my whole game. I want to get better at everything.
Yeah. Well, hey, final thought. First ever basketball state championship at Overland. I know they went to the title game in, 1990. What does that mean? I'll start with you, Deron, to kind of create that legacy of Overland basketball.
Well, it's a blessing, you know, to the community, to our fans, to the school. You know, they never seen something like, you know, this is a pretty big thing in a long while. So, you know, it's just a blessing to everyone. Yeah,
and Austin, I mean, not only have you raised the level of Overland basketball, but you did it for the football program too.
Oh yeah, it's huge. My biggest thing is I love the reaction, the way that the fans and the community and how the school feels, the atmosphere. When you have the school and the fans and your supporters, I mean, I remember Eddie Gill, who played for Overland, a professional basketball player who contacted me on Twitter and, you know, was congratulating me. That's the kind of stuff that makes you feel appreciated. You know, you put yourself in a position, in a role to bring the community behind you, and then once you get everyone behind you, you know, no one's behind you, they're with you now. And it just felt great to have such a great community express their happiness and their gratitude for, you know, us doing something so great as winning the state championship.
Yep, it was something truly remarkable. Danny, you won one as a player at Hinckley. Now you win one as a coach over at Overland. Told you guys I'm a Smoky Hill guy, so but we'll keep it in the city. We'll keep it in Overland. Always good to see an A-Town team come through. Gentlemen, thanks so much. Appreciate you guys coming in, and best of luck in future endeavors.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, Overland Trailblazers, the 5A basketball state champions. All right, we'll take a timeout, and when we come back, plenty more highlights. We'll get back into baseball when we return here on the Xfinity Sports Report.